Hailing from the great cold state of Alaska, I am the Frozen Gamer, and today I want to show you guys an easier method to get to that second chest in the Deep Stone Crypt with your hunter. Now, the method that I have seen in the past has always been that you use your Shadowshot, but I have a way that's actually much simpler, and so far I have not seen any other videos showing how to do this. So I want to show you guys the easiest way to get to that second chest with a hunter without having to use Shadowshot. So the first thing you need, above all else, is you need your stasis subclass. If you do not have it yet, and you still want to get to these chests, you want to get it in before weekly reset, just make sure you have a friend who does have a stasis subclass. Find someone who can help you out with that, because this is absolutely necessary. Now, the one thing that you need, whether you're doing it solo or doing it with a friend or a group of friends, is you need to make sure that whoever has the stasis subclass has the glacier grenades equipped. Now, the glacier grenades are the ones that make ice walls or can also make ice platforms. Technically, you might be able to pull this off using the whatever that new the stasis grenade launcher, something grip. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, you might be able to pull it off with that, but I found that was not the most efficient method, particularly because if you happen to run out of ammo with that, you're kind of screwed a little bit more, whereas if you run out of ammo with a sword, you can still make it. It is more difficult without the sword, but basically just make sure you have the stasis subclass with the glacier grenades. Make sure you have a fair amount of mobility. I recommend if you do not already have it, try to track down a pair of stompies. It's possible Xur might sell them, who knows. Most likely, most players are already going to have this. And if you don't, just get the highest mobility you can possibly get. Frosties also work pretty nicely. Those are my personal favorite exotic with Hunter. But Stompies are the ones that give you more jump height, which can be extremely helpful in this situation. So after you get past all of the enemies in the opening area, you want to head towards the door, and one of the things, just kind of a pro tip, something that I figured out is when you get to that door, sometimes it hasn't like spawned in closed and it'll be wide open. And sometimes if you go through that, you can still get through the next door. But I've had situations where it actually did not, the second door did not open for me, and I just got stuck in there. So best thing that I always do, I always stop before the door, wait for it to close the door, then go up to the door so that it opens, and then go through. When you get inside the bubble, make sure that you equip your Sparrow. If you do not already have, if you're not already on it, doesn't really matter. But anyway, when you get on your Sparrow, just go right outside the bubble. I usually go to this spot that's over to the right and jump off back into the bubble. Make sure that your Sparrow is out enough to where you can reach it, but it's not actually inside the bubble. Then just get on the Sparrow from inside the bubble. As long as the frostbite debuff does not show up, you're clear from this point. So follow the route that I'm going to show you here. I will screw up once, but I'll just fast forward through that, so you won't really have to worry about that too much. If you follow this route and do your best to avoid the slow bombs, you'll be fine. If you run into a slow bomb, just stop and wait for the debuff to wear off and then move forward. That way you don't have to worry about missing any jumps. Now, when you get to this portion, one of the things you always want to do is just keep your eyes open for the lamps, those orange lamps, because that will help you get to where you want to go. If you happen to, when you get to this portion that's going over a pit and has like just a bunch of little stone columns that you're basically jumping onto, you can pull back on your Sparrow after you jump onto there to keep yourself from flying off. Or sometimes you don't even have to boost with your Sparrow. You can just go straight ahead. If you have difficulty with this portion, like if you're just having a hard time not flying off, what you can always do is when you get to this portion, just jump off your Sparrow. Because as long as you did the trick earlier that keeps you with the buff Shelter from the Storm, you maintain it even when you're off your Sparrow. And then you can just go through this portion very easily on foot. And once you get past all the platforming portion there with your Sparrow, you can just go straight ahead and then to the first chest. And now once you get to the first chest, this next portion, just make sure that you try to stay out of the enemy's line of sight and go straight for the door. Once you go for this door, just get through and try your best to get as close to the opposite door as quickly as you can to avoid getting killed. If you have more than just yourself doing this, you'll probably be fine and you can be revived by a friend. But if you are doing this solo, you just have to do your best to stay alive, because if you die here, when you respawn, you'll be back at the beginning and have to redo the Sparrow section again. It can be useful for learning the route better, but it's also kind of a pain in the butt. So once you get through the door, once you get through both doors, and then you'll get to the lamp and the portion where you're going to start glitching through the environment. Now, the lamp, the best thing I found is just jump once, and it'll automatically pull you up vault onto the top portion of the lamp. And then you jump up and swipe to get in that little crack. And then from there, sometimes you'll have to do this multiple times if you can't quite get it, but as long as you can get in there, you can jump up on the side of the wall there. And then when you see the wall in front of you, you want to aim for that little bubble that's up in the top corner. Well, it's not really a bubble, but it's like a lump on the side of the cliff. And if you aim for that, that's your best chance to make sure you actually get on top of the cliff, and then just walk forward past the turn back section until you get to a drop. When you get past this drop, sometimes there will be a little invisible wall in that little cavern. If you run into that, just unequip any ornaments you have and re-equip them. I've only had it happen to me once, but when I did, unequipping the ornaments did the trick, and then I was able to get through. And I haven't had any problems since then, even with the ornaments on. So, but that's just a little tip if you run into that issue. Now, here is the portion where the main method that I've always seen is using Shadowshot. But I think that what actually works a lot better, is much easier for people who are not as skilled like myself, is using the Ice Wall Grenade. So you want to aim fairly high, and with you aiming fairly high, when you throw your grenade, because of how far it has to travel, it should land on the wall down below. And you can make sure that it lands, make sure it actually lands on the wall, creates an ice platform. If you miss, just stay there, wait for your grenade to recharge, and you should be golden. I had enough discipline mods to where my grenade recharged pretty fast. But I also had a mobility mod on my stompies just to improve my movement for that portion. So you throw the ice grenade and then get on your Sparrow, back up a little bit so you have a little bit of room to get the boost going, and then fly off the edge, go towards it. And you want to do this pretty quickly because the ice platform doesn't last super long. But just basically do the best you can. When you get close to the end of the boost, that's when you can jump off and just jump onto the platform. And then going around, and then you want to go around the corner. And depending on how you threw your grenade, your ice platform might already be around the corner. But if it's not, you just jump around the corner. Make sure you actually jump. Don't drop. Jump, then swipe, then jump, then swipe, and then do your third jump. And you're just aiming for this area down below. So then, past this point, it's all pretty self-explanatory. But one of the things that I do want to point out will show up in just a couple minutes. So, and one of the things I want to point out is that if you fall off here, it's okay. You just have to make sure that you fall off in an open area and not what would be inside of the environment, because if you fall inside of the environment, you might get stuck and have to restart everything. As long as you fall outside, you should respawn in a spot where you can still get where you need to go. Now, once you aim for this little wall that you'll see me going to, when you aim for the top of the wall, obviously just take it easy, make sure you actually get there. And then once you get there, jump on top of the pipe. And this is one thing that's different about how I do it compared to others, but it is important. Go all the way to the bottom of the pipe. You'll spawn in this area clarity control, or rather you'll get the transition into that area. Now, the reason why this is important, I mean, I've seen other methods where they don't go down quite as far. They just get into clarity control and then jump back up and then go across. And this way is easier because you don't have to worry as much about platforming or balancing so much. You just have to get down to the bottom. You can walk straight across and then start going up the pipe. Now, if you run, and basically here you're just going to be jump, 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 swipe. And as much as you can. If you run out of sword ammo while you're doing this, you can just keep swiping your light attack. And then every time you hit an invisible ceiling, jump up and then swipe and then just keep doing the same thing. Because this is the one way that you can actually still get up. And once you get up to the top, you'll see that there's that white structure there. And if you do not see that, it's because you didn't go all the way down to clarity control. You have to be down there in order for the structure to appear. If you do not see the structure, you didn't go far down. And you might still be able to go back down and then come back up. I think that'll work. However, it's just better to not even, to just follow my instructions from the beginning, and that way you don't have to worry about it. Because if you do not go down into clarity control, that thing will not spawn. And then you can't move forward. You're stuck. Now, when you go on top of this, make sure you go to the very top in the middle of it and run across that until you get the new loading zone. And if you do not, once you get the new loading zone, as long as the rooftops that are off on the right in the distance are still there, you're golden. You don't have to worry about anything else. The rest of it, I don't think there's really any issues you can come across necessarily. At least nothing I've come across yet. But those steps, getting on that rooftop is essential, because if you do not get on that rooftop, sometimes those other rooftops will not spawn. And if they don't spawn in, you can't move forward, you're stuck. And basically, unless you have a friend who's back at the previous checkpoint, which is just before the big jump, then you are going to have to go back to orbit, restart the whole thing. And that's a pain. And from here on out, it's all pretty self-explanatory. I'll just let the footage play. Nothing's really all that complicated. The rest of it is fairly easy to get to. But I hope that this helped you. If this helped you, please leave a comment down below. Let me know. If you find another method that's even better than this, go ahead and tell me. You don't necessarily have to do it this way, but I found that this was a much easier method than doing the Shadowshot thing because I suck. And so I really hope that this helped other people out as much as it helped me and my friends. And this is a great way to get the spoils of war without having to do raids. It's like you can do this solo. If you have 3 characters, you can get 60 of them per week. I missed I didn't get the second chest the first week, so I was only able, I'm short the 30 that I need in order to finally get Anarchy, but right now I'm sitting at a pretty 210 after doing all 3 characters this week. And I'll go ahead and also include footage for both the Titan and Warlock, how to do it with them. I'm not going to go over the commentary with that other than to say the Titan, you want to have Lion Rampants and a sword. You can do Middle Tree Striker just as an insurance policy in case you completely biff it and screw up and run out of sword ammo. But you'll basically see what I do here either way, and I'll make sure to show you in the footage what gear I had equipped, and you don't have to have it exactly. The only important thing is with the Titan, Lion Rampants and a sword. With the Warlock, Top Tree Dawnblade, and well, you don't even have to. I mean, you do need to have a sword, but it's not as important. Top Tree Dawnblade is the main thing, and using Icarus Dash. So you're going to be pretty well golden with both of those. And so anyway, like I said, I'm just going to let the footage play out for the rest of the video. Until next time, this has been the Frozen Gamer, and I will talk to you later. Take care.
has found it. The Deep Stone Crypt. The birthplace of the Exo. And a prison for something sinister. Her followers intend to make use of it, to unleash a chaos they do not understand.